start the recording. And I love Mondays because I really come away from my weekend with like, I really feel like a new awareness all the time, like a new perspective on things, fresh. Maybe that's just because I give myself more space to be and be present with my family or clients or whoever I am in presence with over the weekends. It's just a different vibe. But I wanted to ask the question, like, how do you build like your awareness or your consciousness of like how you want to personally grow as a human? Like, is there an area of your life that you know you need to focus on so that you can better over time? Or, what is that? Like, how do you build that consciousness or that awareness of where you actually want to grow in your life?
I think Nancy and I were just talking about intentions as, like reminders of how I want to be or what would support me, as opposed to just like task-oriented intentions. And I was sharing that the question that I ask when coming up with those intentions is, what would support me most right now? And then I set an intention to help, to help me get into that like headspace of that support. And I think this is similar in that I feel like if, I'm at a point in my life where I feel myself wanting something different or feeling stuck or feeling like I'm just hitting the wall. It's similar. I ask myself like what would support me? And then the follow up to that is like, what do I need to do to make that happen? And that's sort of where I decide where to put that growth energy.
Yeah, I like that. The reverse engineering, like, what do you need? And then like, what do you need to do to get to that? Yeah, love it. Okay, we are at 10 after the hour. We will go dark, work on our focus and intention, and we will see you back at 10 to the hour. So we're talking about that awareness and the first like little bit of the hour here. Did anyone have anything else that was stirring around that with, how do we build that awareness, that consciousness around, where we want to be going forward, where we want to really intentionally be growing ourselves for the future? So does anyone have anything else that would share around that topic? Otherwise we will transition topics.
I don't know if it's on the topic. Just so you know, I'm also chatting with Etsy over here at the same time. But I don't know if it's on topic. The thing with me is I can get motivated. Yes. Sorry. I can get motivated, but it's a problem. Sometimes it's a problem with staying motivated long enough to get something actually done.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. So like the excitement of you're starting the thing and then getting it to completion.
Well, yeah, it's like holding a passion. When you get passionate, I see people get passionate about stuff, I mean, that's what they want. That's what they want. That is their goal. And somewhere along the line, I lost that because I started this, and I was kind of like, it started out as a hobby, but then it evolved and it grew, and I got a little passionate about it. Then all of a sudden, poof. Kind of like you grew like a mushroom, and then eventually it wasted away. And then I'm trying to recapture that, and I find that it is so very hard.
Yeah. Amy's also a creative and started all of her stuff by being, really passionate and creative and in a hobby, and just like doing it for herself too. But something that I would say to that is, what is your definition of being passionate? What would that be for you?
For me?
Yeah. What does it mean to be passionate about what you're doing?
You want to get up and do it. I mean, it's a desire. You wake up in the morning and that's kind of like the first thing in your mind, or even the second thing, but it's there. And it's like it's staring you in front of you. It's like that big juicy steak or if you big juicy pie or whatever. You're like, I want to do this. Like I
love
said,
it.
I got a chat going on over here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I love it, the desire, the description of the desire and the want for like the need to do it. You know, you recognize when it's out of your life because it's, you know, that energy and that enthusiasm and excitement is not there, and you feel that. Amy, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's definitely that level of excitement or, you know, like feeling inspired by something. And I use creative outlets as my proactive behaviors. So just those things that help me stay connected to who I am and, you know, make me feel um, at my best, I guess. So I can totally tell, like, if I'm feeling off or scattered or overwhelmed, if I pick something up to be creative for a little bit, like it totally resets that. So that's kind of how
Yeah.
I feel about it.
Yeah, kind of brings you back to you know, reigniting that passion for the thing and kind of reframing it. That's awesome. Okay, we are at the top of the hour. I'm gonna pause here. So I've been loving the things that you're sharing about mental health, Amy, and the fact that, you know, you took a mental health day and intentionally put that pause for yourself. And you even used the word headspace, which is my new favorite thing because I'm working towards creating a blog for calling it the healthy headspace, and really about, you know, growing a healthy mindset and being able to grow the tools that we need so that we can, you know, when we realize we're not in that healthy headspace, that we can really intentionally hit the pause button and know that that's in our best interest and everyone that, you know, benefits from who we are. If we aren't putting the pause there, then it's going to be a stop button sooner than we think, right? Like, thinking about the pause button, you can easily just keep going once you take the pause, but a stop button, you generally have to like start over, or, you know, it takes more time. So that's really what was coming to me about a healthy headspace, and really taking the pause and being okay with that, to know like it's good to pause instead of have to say, I quit, I'm done, I can't take anymore, I'm at burnout, all of those things. So anything else that you want to share around that? Because I loved where you were going with the conversation in really being intentional for yourself and that awareness.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, it's a little trickier because with my RA, I feel my stress physically, and I notice some of those physical signs, and I know that if I don't deal with them, then they're just gonna decide like, okay, we're out, and then I don't have control over when and how that happens. So it's really recognizing when like I have to take that time, or it's just gonna come back to haunt me.
Yeah, I love that you said recognize when, and I put it in the chat box in all caps, when, because people are like, oh, but if you need this. No, it's not an if. That is definitely a when. We, you know, I guess it's a when you're aware, right? When you're paying attention and being present with what your body needs and what your mindset needs, that's when you get to recognize it and take action towards the things that support the recharge of that.
Yeah, and then the weekends, I really like to work on those things that inspire me and make me feel fulfilled, so that I like start the week with that energy, right? I come from that like creative, happy space. Um,
Your
and
passion.
yeah. And if I start the week from a place of depletion or feeling like I had to rest all weekend because I wasn't listening to the signs of my body. It's like I lose that momentum for the week. So, taking the time to rest on Friday gave me that space and time this weekend to do the things that set me up for a productive and like happy week.
I love that. The idea of saying yes to something and saying no to something, that just came to my mind, that's a lesson that, when I realized, when someone had shared with me, when you say no to something like intentionally, you're intentionally also saying yes to something else. So why not say no to the things that aren't serving you in the moment, and saying yes to yourself to figure out what would, and just put a pause on that. So I love that. Thank you for
And
that.
I really hope that I am, like, one of my side goals, I guess, or secondary goals, is that I really hope I'm inspiring other people at work to set boundaries and take better care of themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. When we lead by example, it's showing other people it's good to do it and it's okay, and that anyone could do it, right? Like we can all say yes to what we need to support on a larger scale. I love that. Way to be inspiring for everyone to see that. That's awesome. Okay, we're at 10 after the hour. We will be back at 10 too. Have fun, be productive. Okay, so we had talked about it earlier today in another hour with Coach K about PQs, and that was one of my intentions earlier this morning. And now we're talking about it again, and how we find that it's really serving us. And something that I thought of off of a comment actually that you made, Amy, this morning, was that you made up your own. You created your own in the moment when you're floating around in the pool, which when you said that, I was like, oh, I actually made up my own, and I paid attention to my breathing, and I did PQ this weekend without like using the app and using the structure, but really taking ownership that I could do the shit on my own and be like, okay, let's get really, really intentional here. And I found myself, I did it under the stars. I was on a camping trip and there was an awesome fire going. We had some music going, and there was some conversations happening, and I just kind of pulled back. And I was like, okay. And I got really present with myself. I started dancing around and just working on my breath and looking up at the stars. And it was so calming, just like the PQ reps are for me. But I really do like to be guided a lot of the time with the app and having that ease. But when you said that you created your own, I was like, I didn't even, acknowledge myself for doing that in the moment. But I am realizing that I actually do that more than I think I do, but I need to acknowledge myself for, intentionally making that shift happen. So that was really cool. Hearing the floating, because I was not in water, but I was dancing around a fire.
Different kind of floating.
Different kind of floating. It kind of was. There was a lot of stars out, so it was super fun. But we do have 4 minutes. Did you have anything that you wanted to mastermind around growing in who you are and how you're showing up this week?
No, I guess I didn't have anything.
Yeah. So something for me that I'm focused on, like practicing, is really like setting a weekly intention. And this is like something that I feel like kind of with like the intention and then having the goals in play to like work backwards, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. But I tend to be challenged with like a weekly purpose. Like the daily, cool. The like overall like focus, cool. But like a weekly, it's like you can gauge. I mean, we know this from the action hours. We can gauge we think we can get so much done in an hour, and sometimes we get way more done, and sometimes it goes by so fast, like what you mentioned, it went by fast. And then just becoming aware of like which tasks, which areas are, you know, taking more energy or more time in general to complete, which I think kind of holds me up in thinking about like, how much can I accomplish this week? And like, what would be a great focus to kind of, you know, inspire me each day to know the purpose each day? Because I kind of have, I don't know if anyone else does this, so let me know in the comments. Like, do you guys have a theme for each day? Because I've kind of broke it down. Like I mentioned, Mondays are a day about like focusing on how I'm connecting. So, you know, are the words in this space, are the visuals lining up, and really about communication on Mondays for myself. Amy, do you have like focuses each day or week for your workflow, or like how you just, you know, go through your weeks?
Yeah, so I have like goals for each day or like those tasks for each day. But for the week, I tend not to make task-based intentions. I make intentions based on, and I was just talking to Nancy about this morning, asking myself what would support me this week, and then picking an intention that fits with that. So this week I'm working on holding those boundaries to help me to stay away from that place of overwhelm. So, you know, my intention for this week is being willing to practice holding those boundaries. So, like a good example of that is jumping on these action hours, because it gives me a minute to step away and, you know, have a little bit of connection and clear my mind, and then kind of go back to it instead of just the constant like churn, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I'm gonna write that at the top of my week focus, and my purpose is to pause and ask myself, you know, what would support me? Like right now, like what would support me? And I'm gonna put that at the top of my purpose for week 33, which is apparently the week that we're in of the year, week 33 of this year. So awesome. Okay, we are at the top of the hour, so we're going to pause here and get some celebrations and intentions. Do either one of you have anything that you want to mastermind about with growing or building currently? Okay, so my thought is that I would love to hear, like, when you're building your hype around a program or a launch of some sort, or just something really new in your life. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be about business, just in general. How do you go about building your confidence in whatever it is that you're sharing about? You know, is it that it's just so you're so passionate about it that you just don't care and you just share it? Or, you know, how do you build your confidence in building the excitement around something new?
So I think a lot of times, like when I'm doing something new, I'm just that excited. So I feel like I don't need to hype myself up. And what I have been doing more recently is trying to, um, you know, post little teasers. So post like through the process. So, you know, um, like with the program I'm creating around senses, I created, you know, like the little logo, and then I posted that. So it was like a little teaser about like, this is what I'm working on. Um, so I think that's where I'm trying to create a little bit of excitement, like for others, because I'm already super excited.
Yeah, I think that's fun too, because that kind of gives your audience the ability to go on the journey with you. Yeah.
And along the same lines, like, like Amy said, I'm excited. Like, I'm bought in. It's easy for me to talk about it. I've realized lately in talking about it, my hang up is in talking about it is that I talk about me too much, that I know it works. This is what I'm providing. This is what I'm doing. It's all about me, not the transformation, not what you get out of it. That's where I'm realizing I'm falling short.
Yeah, that's a really good reminder that when, especially if it's a program or something you're launching for business with like an offer, I guess is what I'm saying, then, you want to make sure that you are sharing in the right context, in the way that it shares the story and the transformation of what you are creating or building or growing or putting out there to the world. That's a representation of you, but not fully about you.
It's like people want to know what they're getting for their investment. Like, people want to know that part, but they also want to know the outcome too. And that's the part I miss sometimes.
Yeah, love that. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for that quick little mastermind. That was great. It's 10 after, so we will see you at 10 to the hour. Have fun, be productive. What would you ladies like to mastermind around growing in who we are, or how we're showing up even this week, right? We're in the middle now. We are now in the middle of Build Month as our theme. And how is it going? You're focused on building this month. How is it going? Are you seeing the growth that you want to be, that you've anticipated, that you see that the action that you're taking has been producing results that you have been moving towards? How is your growth going for what you're building intentionally this month?
I am building a path that leads away from my current job and towards something that is more authentic, inspiring, and fulfilling for me. And I find that as I think more about it and what it feels like to be in that space, I feel like I have zero patience for BS at work. I'm just like, I'm not doing that. That's a waste of my time. Which is sort of refreshing and sort of terrifying at the same time. But working through that.
I love it. Working through that. Yeah, I think that I love that you are working through it, right? Because we don't always have the opportunity to just say, I don't like to do it and I'm not going to. We do still have to, all of us, we do have to show up in situations that we don't want to. It's not always rainbows and sunshines with working for someone else, being your own boss, whatever the case may be, and being willing to, stretch our patience zone maybe and waiting. I think that's interesting too, because that makes me think about like waiting to receive like what we're working towards, but also being excited and energized in the journey along the way of being able to say, documenting the growth of making that path and making sure that we do celebrate the small things that get us on the right path to what will be more fulfilling and more joyful for you in the long run, to be future focused, but also, you know, having that being present in the moment to really find the everyday joy in what that might be, even if it's after hours from there to fill your cup even more. So, anyone else or a comments to Amy about her path that she's building, or how it's going for each of you? No.
I can talk.
Okay.
Well, Stephanie's already off mute, so just saying.
She's just chilling.
Um, I get the whole waiting to receive a concept, because I feel like I'm putting a lot of effort into building and not seeing a lot of result from that as of yet. But I'm still happy with what I'm creating. Like, I feel like my 5-day challenge was of good value, and if people would have come in and taken part, they would have gotten good value. So it, it's just waiting for those people to come, I guess, and figuring out better ways of getting them there, I guess. And look, I've got, this is Beck's mug. It's all wrapped up.
I love it. I love that you, so something that I heard you say is, first you said waiting for them to come. And then you said figuring out ways, I don't remember exactly what you said, but figuring out ways to, get them there. So I love that at first it was waiting for people, and then it was to figure out how to, really it's about attracting people to, keep growing your audience, to keep finding the people that you're meant to be in front of and that are meant to have the tools that you have to support them. And that was where I was going to go with a thought too, was, is a Facebook group the right move for the challenge, or did you do like email marketing to get them into the group to like say, oh, it's live, or that kind of thing? Because a lot of people aren't paying attention to Facebook groups, and even when they have amazing knowledge and tools for people to grow personally into who they are, like the tools that you shared are for life and to grow, out of your comfort zone and be able to kind of go wherever life's taking you with that touch of positivity and shifting your mindset that everyone can use. But it is getting the people to be in front of the content that you have and the gifts that you have to share.
Yeah, we don't have the emails of our Facebook group, but we could specifically email our followers about our Facebook group. So that could be an idea for our next one. We're going to do our next one in September.
Yeah,
so it's going to be the same.
And you have those videos that you could put it together and put it out as like a series in an email sequence instead of doing the live. You could use the videos that you've already shared the tools in the challenge and make it more of a, they sign up and they get the 5 days in a row sent to their email inbox, that it doesn't have to be a live thing. But then when you do the live thing, it can also entice them to get back in and really utilize having that in-person energy of doing the challenge and showing up for it.
Yeah,
So.
I haven't done something like that before, so
yeah,
that would be
I sign up for a lot of them. That's why I say that, like, they are effective. Like when it's like one thing at a time and it's sent to my inbox and I know I'm looking for like a 5-day challenge and they send one, and especially if it's a video, I am enticed to watch it. And I know your videos were small, but you're short because I watched them. So I loved it. And I will encourage you to keep showing up for that. I know it was your first one, so keep growing that. It's good. Thank you,
Right.
ladies. Have a fantastic rest of your afternoon.